Well, I'm going to speak in broad general terms. The Clemson offense isn't any good, and the defense is good, but the offense isn't any good. So that pretty much covers the entire season.
In a nutshell, and the defense wasn't very good against Louisville.
True.
Malik Cunningham, he had his way against those guys. He gashed them, and he had what was 138 yards on the ground, like through the first two quarters and a little bit of the third quarter before he got hurt. Then after he came back, he only had -4 rushing yards. I mean, his speed really was a problem for that defense the other night. They just seemed to consistently be a step slow, filling a gap, and he was gone, man. Especially when he'd run to the outside, he was just faster than those guys, and they would get caught out of position a lot. And in recent seasons, they ran a lot of stuff that kind of, resembled option football. And in recent seasons, Brent Venables' defenses have been really good defending those kind of offenses. And it was kind of weird to see them kind of get punched in the mouth playing against that kind of offense. But Cunningham was really good the other night. I hadn't got to see him play a lot this season. I don't know if he's been that way all season, but he was really good. He was a little faster than I remember him being from a couple years ago. And he really presented a problem for them. Clemson might have been in trouble if he doesn't get hurt in that game.
Down 24-17 going into the fourth quarter. Clemson scores 13. They win it. And, of course, Louisville, I checked out the fourth quarter, was coming down the field, chewing up yardage with no problem on that final drive and ready to score to win the game. But Clemson holds them out at the 1 or 2 yard line. That they had a number of shots from inside the 5, but Clemson was able to hang on.
Yeah, Venables talked yesterday about how they spent a large portion of the week working specifically on red zone defense, just for that reason, and another reason being because Louisville been so efficient scoring touchdowns in the red zone this year. They spent a lot of time working on that this week, and it paid off because they surely got the late stop when they needed it.
6-3, 5-2 in the conference. Wake Forest is coming up in 2 weeks, and Wake lost to North Carolina, but not in a conference game. And so they still have no losses in the ACC. And, of course, Clemson, to have any hope of getting back to the ACC championship game, needs to win that head-to-head and then hope Wake loses elsewhere, as well as NC State. DJ goes 18 for 30 for 220, 2 touchdowns, no picks. They could not get the ground game going for the most part. Pretty anemic offensive effort. They did score the 30, but only about 350 yards of total offense.
Yeah, after a fast start, the offense kind of got bogged down. I thought DJ looked as good as he's looked all year, probably his best game of the season. He really starting to look like he's getting more comfortable in that role. He said yesterday he's starting to have more fun again on the field, and you can kind of see it. But Clemson also started their 6 different offensive line against Louisville. They had to start Mason Trotter over there at right guard, and this is a guy he's 285 pounds starting at right guard. That's a problem if you ask me. They just was not a lot of room to run. They just didn't open up very many running lanes. Will Shipley, I think he had 40 rushing yards, and they were tough rushing yards. He got some tough yards between the tackles. But, yeah, they could not sustain anything on the ground. Kobe Pace, left with after taking a shot to the head. I think he was in a concussion protocol. Moffa's kind of banged up. So right now, despite while Moffa's still playing some, it's really during that game, it was all Will Shipley and really, some of Moffa sprinkled in here and there. But he was on and off the field. And Shipley left a short time, too, because he took a shot. So Clemson's pretty banged up at the running back spot. Those are really the only 3 guys they got right now.